Hi guys, I'm going to start with the Mystical Shaman Oracle, and we have number 49 with Soul Retrieval. And right away, I don't know if you can see, but I thought that was amazing, that two butterfly cards right next to each other. So I don't know if that means something for somebody. And then if you look over there, there is, I want to say is there 3 owls? Let me see. Yes, there are 3 owls, 3 white owls. Now, granted, a lot of times those animals come up in the same cards, but there's something here for somebody. There's transformation. I feel like somebody is coming into their wisdom. So there's that. So if you're not familiar with a soul retrieval is something that it's a practice done in shamanism, in journeying, where a lot of times you go with your guide, and your guide, whatever form that takes, whether it be your spirit animal, your lower world guide, whatever. And it's different in every culture, but they go and they help you retrieve pieces back to yourself. A lot of times in practical shamanism, which is kind of like a combination of spiritual practice and therapy. And it can help you deal with childhood traumas, pieces of you through different things that you've been through that can kind of help you heal that. And I also feel like a lot of times in, just your day-to-day, there are parts of ourselves that we lose from just conditioning and all the things that happen to us. But anyway, so I'm going to read the card. Soul retrieval is a practice that helps you recover a part of yourself, your energy, your enthusiasm, your innocence that you may have lost. At first, we'll use soul retrieval to recover from our hurts and heal our childhood wounds. Later, we'll learn a journey to recover our original nature, that self that never left the Garden of Eden, who still speaks to the rivers, to the trees, and to God. And when we return to Eden, we are whole again. The invitation says, you are no longer fragmented. You are one with creation. You have healed the cause of your pain you feel. So you do not need to dwell on it any longer. Really, it's true. It says, really, it's true. I should have said it like that. If you are still hovering over an old wound, find a new flight path. Don't be distracted with the little stuff you've already mastered. Go for the big one, the journey back to Eden. Oh, wow. Okay. That's a good one. And I'm feeling there's just stuff right now that's kind of coming at me. But anyways, so I just think that's beautiful. And there's so many wings in here. So, when they say, change your flight pattern, I feel like that's a big part of it too. So, anyways, let's go to the Herbal Astrology Oracle. I want to do those together just because I think it's kind of cool. So we have number 21 with Nettle, which is action. And this is Mars and Pluto. So, what do you think of when you see Mars and Pluto? You think of to the tower, right? So there we go. It's already in here. So that's kind of like a double confirmation. There's some big thing that's happening, and I feel like it's a good thing. I always feel like towers are good anyway, but this is something that is meant to help you transform, or you are transforming. And I feel like let's just read the card. It says direct action, fierce protector, leadership, strength, and we have 2 Leo cards here too. So let's think about that. Somebody is being called to be leader. There's so much stuff. Anyway, power in pursuit of truth and dominance. And I feel like, that's kind of what this is about. I don't think it's action in a way where you're, something's happening to you. I feel like there's a strong push for somebody or a strong pull for somebody. And I feel like this soul retrieval that you either have gone through or need to go through or are currently going through is you're finding your power. You're finding your spiritual power. You're finding your true self, right? I'm always talking about your true self. And this is beautiful because this is exactly what I'm talking about. And this transformation that you're going through, because that's what towers do, right? They break us down so we can build back better, right? You can't keep going if your foundation sucks or if it's been, worn out and it's no longer useful, right? A lot of times the things that we build around us, the walls we build around us, they're for protection. I wish I knew the exact phrase, but in that one shamanism, a practical shamanism series that I read, I love the way that he put that, a lot of times the piece of you that still remains is the protector spirit. And that's the part of you that stays and protects you. And at one time they had a purpose. They had a purpose to protect you from all the things that you were going through, and that in your fragile nature, you needed that. But sometimes you have to let that go. And that protection instinct is strong. So it's hard for that spirit to let go, right? That's hard for that piece of you to let go and let you step in your power because they're so busy and you're so busy protecting yourself. So that's for somebody. Anyway, so we'll go to the tarot, and I just decided to do my Liminal Forrest Oracle over tarot today instead of 2 tarot cards. So, and our first card is transformation, right? And you see all these caterpillars turning into butterflies, and then, the snake shedding its skin. That's been a common theme lately. So you guys all know what I'm talking about. And then, we have the strength card underneath. So this just is what I feel like. I feel like somebody is coming to their moment. Somebody is, this is your moment that, we've all kind of been waiting for. This is something that, all the things that you've gone through, all the things that you've been healing, all the things you're trying to quote unquote fix is, it's been for this person that you are. And that's not to say that you aren't going to be somebody different, or better or whatever. It's just this stage of your life that, there's a big transformation. Oh my goodness, I can't say words. But, and I think that this is in this leadership role. I mean, what is Leo? Leo is that creative leader, right? They're a lover, but they're a leader. They're proud to be who they are. And that's why they make great, artists and people that can express themselves, but they also make great leaders too. So, and I keep getting chills because my North Node's in Leo, and I keep trying to embrace that, but I don't know. I left my aggressiveness, and I don't want to say that you have to be aggressive, but I left that whatever behind when I was younger. So it's kind of I used to be this, typical Aries, head first, da 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 da. Now I do head first, but it's I'm this giggling little kid that just wants to do stuff. So there's something that you are leading, and it's something that you are leading in yourself. It doesn't have to be a thing or a group of people or anything, but it's something that you are doing within yourself. So anyways, and so my second column, that's what we kind of have to work on. And then we have battle, and we have the 7 of Wands. So being that it is something that we should work on, if you look, there's this little owl. He's looking over and he's observing these 2 foxes fighting, right? They're fighting over, whatever. And, they're wrestling it out. And then, you had this little bird underneath there that's just calmly, getting his worm. So it's a whole thing where I feel this little robin down there is, he's not even paying attention. He's in it, but he ain't paying attention. He's just doing his own thing. And then the wise owl is above there, and they're just kind of observing. They're observing what's happening. So it's kind of I feel not so much that, maybe you're battling, but maybe take the lessons and kind of understand that these battles that we've gone through, they do give us those lessons, and they are part of what, we are doing, but they don't have to be your whole existence, right? That little robin, he could be this is bothering me. I'm not going to do what I got to do. No, he's doing his own thing. He's getting a snack. So, but then we have the 7 of Wands. So, that is, standing up for who you are and standing up in who you are. So I feel a lot of times, there is a place for that where, if you're standing up for somebody or you're protecting yourself, but I feel this is saying that you don't really have to do that anymore. Stand your ground, but be above and indifferent to the battle, right? Don't let the battle be you. Just keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, you got to protect yourself, but protect yourself in a way that it doesn't overcome you, right? This could also feels kind of you have a better understanding of what the battle is. Do you know what I mean? With this owl, looking over at this, that's what that is making me feel. And you have the experience in this battle, so you have the ability to be the little robin there, just doing his own thing. He don't give a crap, right? You know what I mean? He's whatever, that doesn't affect me. I'm just going to eat my lunch. So that's for somebody. Don't let the battle consume you, and, take the efforts that you have gone through, the different things that you've gone through, and, let that be, guidance, but don't let it consume you. And at the same time, you can kind of guide others in that way. So, yeah. So, and then what we have as our assets. Now, it doesn't look like this would be an asset, but, so the towers change, right? A tower is an abrupt moment, and this is something. And, we have procrastination. So, sometimes when we procrastinate, like if you look at this, like this poor little mouse is going to get eaten, right? So he's the other little one over there that's going up the stump, like he's taking his time. So he might be able to get there instead of getting attacked by that other mouse, right? So his procrastination is actually a good thing. But at the same time, this crow over here might get that before the little mouse that, he's hesitating. Maybe he hesitated too much. So it's almost kind of like, take that opportunity while it's there. That's what that feels like. And I feel like this is saying, this is your opportunity. This is your asset. Is there's something happening right now, and you kind of need to take it, right? Whatever this is. But I also feel like this is something you need to really feel within your gut. Don't be reactive, and again, don't be overprotective. Allow yourself to kind of feel the right moment for things. But there is something happening right now that is meant for you. And I feel like you kind of have to feel it out. Because I feel like sometimes we're looking so much for something that we'll take anything that comes our way. So then our last card, which is kind of like, the advice or the next step, we have community and we have the Page of Cups. So I feel like the Page of Cups in this aspect is actually saying to, feel your intuition and kind of like trust your inner guidance on this, whatever this is. And then, so when you look at the community card, it's like they're all kind of like working in tandem, and the plants and the trees have like deep roots. So it's all a connected thing. So I feel like this is telling somebody to really kind of connect with the core at who they are, those pieces of you that we're retrieving, and kind of use your intuition, not so much connecting to everything else that everybody else has to say. I feel like it's being a little bit more innocent in the fact that like we're not trying to be logical, because things are interwoven, like all these little animals and these roots, they're all kind of interwoven together in certain ways. And if we look on the surface, we see all the different things. You see like the animals that are the prey or whatever, but if you have a deeper understanding of it, that like it all works together, right? But you don't need to be, it's like being of the world, but not in the world, but not of the world, right? And so I feel like, being like these trees where their roots are deep, right? You have deep roots into your whatever this is. So I feel like this is something that is deeper, and I feel like you have to have kind of like this innocence about things, and not be like, well, this opportunity, is good for this, and I should do this because that's what I'm supposed to do. There's a deep layer of truth to things, and that's what our intuition taps into. So in my last two cards, I have number 50, the spiral. From galaxies in the sky to diminutive shells on the beach, the spiral is found intensively in the natural world. Its shape in the form of a coil serpent that has been used since ancient times as a tool for growth and transformation. And that's all over here too. A spiral is a guide to entering deep into one's consciousness and the unknown, and the extending far out into the heavens. It is crucial to surrender to the journey until the exhausted paradigm dissolves in the depths of the psyche and its energy is released to give birth to a new reality. The invitation, to renew yourself, you must shed your old skin. See, there you go. That's crazy. You have already done this, so do not keep scraping away the old, but will welcome the soft new skin that's starting to grow. Break the habit of working on your faults all the time, and let nature take its course. Know that a new skin feels vulnerable and scary at times. Trust the medicine of the spiral as it guides your journey of renewal. So yeah, like trusting the signs and trusting the, like, quit trying to push so hard. Let things happen as they will. There's an opportunity that I don't know if I'm going to get it or not, but for something that, if a certain way it would be good for me to take on a practical level, if there was a certain condition where it would work out. But it doesn't speak to me, right? So I'm literally leaving that in Spirit's hands, and I'm saying, okay, I did this part because this was offered to me. If this is not truly meant for me and my soul, then it won't be this condition that I would have in order to take it. That would not be available. So that's what I'm doing. I'm letting it go. Because on one hand, it's a really good opportunity, like on a practical and, as a provider level, it would be a very good thing. But on a soul level, it's not something that, I mean, it might stimulate like my mind a little bit, but it's not going to be like deep core stuff that I, feel like I need. So there's that. And then the last card is number 7, Pau do Arco, and I probably ruined that, Metamorphosis. And I just love that. This whole thing is like all together. It's awesome. So yeah, upright is discovery to darkness, transcendence. And this is the moon in Pluto, which is so appropriate right now, right? Anyways, wow. Okay, so it is discovery through darkness, transcendence of the unknown, unearthing fear, non-conformity, breaking cycles. So, wow. So that's a thought that I need to have for the thing I just talked about. So yeah, I feel like this is something that if you do something, again, don't look at the surface of, what maybe it might be something that is good for you in this way. And there's this dude just mowing just because I think he's like, what is she doing? But anyway, that's all right. Hey, have a good day. But anyways, so I feel like this is something that, it's not a surface level thing. And I don't know, look deeper into why this opportunity was brought to you, or this thing that you're trying to do, or this transformation. I think you're being called to look a little bit deeper. So, and, maybe it is something that you're supposed to do in a community, but just try to look into it, like, feel it out, dude, because that's what I feel like this is about. And again, nonconformity, you know me, 150 million%. I'm all for nonconformity. So I love you guys so much, and thank you. And I hope this meant something for someone.